Hello and welcome to This Is. Today, I'm going to make Austin eat my words.
Okay, so here's the thing. I have had a number of controversial opinions over the years. What I will say is that I'm a fan of the underdog. I love myself a flippy Z Flip, and boy, oh boy, do I love the Xbox Series S for bringing democracy to the gamers. You might look at that diminutive little Xbox and go, look at this little Xbox for ants. But guess what, Jim? A 4090 costs about as much as your kidney, and some people just want to play a game and not worry about it. And the Series S for $300 is and remains to be the only affordably priced console, period, for this generation.
I said a long time ago, back in ye 2020s, that I was worried that the Series S would hold back the Series X.
Normally what you see when a console comes out is that there will be a PS5 and then 3 or 4 years later, whatever, there'll be a Pro model. Well, Microsoft did that in reverse from the very beginning. If you want to publish an Xbox game, it has to be both Xbox Series X and Series S compatible. And Microsoft quite famously have imposed, shall we say, restrictions on you gotta keep parity, right?
And that has caused some controversy with developers. When Baldur's Gate came out, it was delayed on Xbox because it couldn't do split screen on the Series S.
Couldn't handle Halcyon, man. He was just too, his bare form was just too much for the Series S.
Rawr. This is what I was kind of worried about when the Series S was originally announced, because games are already costing so much money to develop for. And now you're saying, well, now you gotta do it twice.
And a big reason why we're talking about this today is that there have been more news articles doing the rounds about how the Series S is holding back gaming. I know the developer for the new Dune game was talking about how it is a huge pain to work with the Series S. It's been a running trend that people are a little upset about the Series S, just for the fact that, first of all, it is a much less powerful console. The way that the Series S is designed, it is meant to be able to run a Series X game just at lower settings. However, as we're getting like Unreal Engine 5 games that are really pushing the envelope and stuff, you're seeing cutbacks that are becoming a little bit more severe on the Series S.
This video is brought to you by Squarespace. Trying to take the next step with your side hustle? Promote your brand and show you mean business with a gorgeous website from Squarespace.
Whether you're a content creator, a small business, or you just want to build a curated directory of your favorite YouTube cats, Squarespace has got you covered.
Not sure where to start? Well, no worries, because you can browse through Squarespace's vast assortment of flexible templates. You'll find one that works for whatever you want to do, and you don't even need the arcane knowledge of CSS, since Squarespace's fluid engine drag and drop interface makes it super easy to arrange and style everything the way you need.
We even made a little page for This Is. With Squarespace's super simple built-in store, we could sell tons of Kyle action figures. Hypothetically, it's probably a bad idea for legal reasons, but you could sell your merch, content, or time for real. Definitely be sure to go check out squarespace.com/thisis to get your 14-day free trial and 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. And as always, thank you very much to Squarespace for supporting us here on This Is. I think what's not being spoken about here, that I think is an equally big part of it, is the fact that clearly PlayStation are winning this generation. As has been the case for almost a decade now, Microsoft don't really share the numbers on how many Xboxes they're selling. But most estimates and a lot of third parties like that the PlayStation is roughly outselling the Xbox by 2 to 2.5 to 1.
Lately, that seems to be...
maybe even 3 to 1, maybe?
No, other way around. Whether it's just like everyone already has a PlayStation. We'd seen a thing a while back where PlayStations are the most returned. Like, I do not think it's like, oh, it's a tied. That's not what I'm saying. Of course. But I also think that this Xbox in general is a better value proposition.
Especially because the PlayStation has been steadily rising in price. And what makes things even a little bit more complicated than that is that, okay, so for a developer, let's just put a number. Let's say 30% of their console sales are going to go on Xbox, right? The split between Series X and Series S is heavily weighted in favor of the Series S. So what you've got here is on one side, you don't want to deal with the little baby Xbox Series S. It's a lot more work to sort of develop for. But on the other side, if you're going to make an Xbox version at all, most people are going to be playing on the Series S. And why would you put so much time into developing for a console that is going to be less powerful? And ultimately, probably it's going to cost you a huge amount of money to sell a very small amount because so many more people have PlayStations. That's why we're seeing so many games launching later on Xbox.
Here's why you should not care about any of this.
Okay.
Because the developers.
Wow.
Because the Series S is amazing for the consumer. That's what you should care about.
I agree. The Series S is
There
great.
is no better device on the market for just raw playability. The amount of games you have access to with Game Pass, I'm sick of developers being like, no, this game failed because of, because the console sucked. If you make a good game, people are going to buy a good game. I'm going to bring up Sony right now. I don't know if you saw it today. Concord is shut down after what? A week and a half, 2 weeks, and refunding everyone. Look, if you make a shitty game,
Of course.
it's not going to sell. If you make a good game, the money's going to be worth it. Developers can't keep blaming this on the power of the Series X.
No one's really blaming the Series S. If you think about it from a business perspective, if you are making a game and you think that, okay, so say 30% of people are going to play on Xbox, then of that 30%, maybe, I don't know, 70% are going to be playing on Series S, right? So now you're down to what, 20%-ish of your entire player base? And then that's not counting PC, that's not counting Steam Deck and all these other things, right? So like it's a small slice as a developer, unless you're putting your game on Game Pass, which is a different kind of story. You got to think about, okay, this is the potential audience who are going to buy this version of my game. And then what's the actual percentage of those people who are going to actually buy it, right? I think if you were to walk into Philly S's office and pull up his secret Microsoft sheet of information, most people would be, my guess at least, most people buy a Series S, have Game Pass, and probably don't buy a lot of actual individual games. So as a developer, it's pretty understandable, as much as I love the Series S, that do you really want to make the investment? And especially if your game is going to be really difficult to get running on the Series S. If it's easy, it's fine.
No, don't make the investment. I'm fine with that. Just say like, hey, like this isn't coming to this thing. Because like you say, the people who are buying this are most likely are Game Passers. And that's okay. And you acknowledge that. But don't say we can't make this game.
They don't want to. They don't want to invest the money and time.
That's the difference. But when you have all the developers like, no, we can't do this because the Series S is holding us back.
Well, if you think about that quote from the developer of Dune, right? They didn't say they can't do it. They go, oh, this is going to be a lot of work.
What they're doing there is saying, go buy this on something else. That's the point of them giving that quote out. One of the things I think invalidates some of the PS5 argument. A stat that we keep bringing up is like how many people only play like FIFA, they only play Call of Duty. They're the same damn console. The internals are damn near identical. You as a consumer have to pick your poison of, if I'm getting the smaller, the cheaper thing, I'm not gonna have all the bells and whistles.
Let me ask you a question, all right? Which is really, I feel like, the main crux of this video. Do you think the Xbox Series S was a mistake?
No.
Do you think then, by that token, that if they had not done the Series S, if they had only done the Series X and just, forgot about it and just rocked with that Microsoft would be in a better position for the Xbox? Because my impression is that a substantial portion of people who bought a Series S would have bought a Series X if the Series S didn't exist.
If they came out with the Series S first, they would have gotten destroyed. Yeah. Like, they would never have recovered from that because people would just be like shitting on them all day long.
They had to do both at the same time. I agree with that. Do you think, though, that the Series S has actually harmed Xbox in the long run?
When I see developers saying this, yes. I understand what you're saying, that the developers have to make money.
Of course.
Me as a consumer, I'm like, look, I could save $200 and still get 95% of the functionality, and just, I gotta wait a little bit to play Baldur's Gate. To me, that's worth it. The value proposition is just higher for me on the Series S.
It's the best deal in gaming. I still believe that, right? There are very few good values in gaming right now, and most of them are a little bit on the older side. Again, I'm gonna go within my list. Switch Lite for $200. Killer. You got the Series S for $300. You've got even the regular LCD Steam Deck for $350. It's difficult to find a good deal in gaming right now, but I think that the Series S is a smart move for Microsoft to have made, because I think that if they would have just launched Series X, boring, straightforward, simple, they would have sold more than Series S, right? But ultimately, I think they sold way more Xboxes as a whole because they had both of those options available. And I understand the developers have a lot more work to do to optimize for something that's a lot less powerful. But on that same flip side, I do think that there's some sort of good side to that. You think Series X is up here and the Series S is like kind of down here. Well, Steam Deck is one layer below. It's very similar sort of tech on the inside. And I think that if you're already going to go through the work of optimizing your game for Series S, you just trim it a little bit down to get it onto Steam Deck. You've got pretty much the entire market right there for you. And to be fair, I know we're talking very much about Xbox versus PS5 and everything, but it is worth mentioning that the PS5 is the most successful, profitable generation of PlayStation. Sony are selling a ton of PS5, even though they keep raising the price. You know why? Because even though they raise the price, people are still buying them, right? The PS5 is really owning this generation in a way that the PS4 kind of did last generation. And I think it was smart for Microsoft to have tried something different with Series S.
On the flip side of that, though, as more people keep buying PlayStations, Microsoft keeps making more money. Because if you look at some of the top-selling games on PlayStation right now, they are Microsoft-owned games.
I think the way to think about Microsoft right now is not Xbox. It's Microsoft Gaming.
Microsoft Gaming.
Xbox is inside of that, but ultimately they want to sell you the games. Microsoft has never made money on these consoles. Famously, when the first Xbox came out, they were losing so much money on that thing. They just want to sell you games and they want to sell you Game Pass, right? Like that's what Microsoft's game is, which is fine, right? As much as we all might love our hardware is just a way to play software. The games are really what's important. And as much as I might be grumpy, you know what? I think somehow I'll find a way to live my life and survive. If I read one more article about why the Series S is ruining this generation of gaming, I think I'm gonna pull out a Switch Lite and smack someone in the face.
Let us know what you think about this generation of consoles. Is the Series S holding us back?
It's not.
Is the
It's actually
Series
okay.
X does it even exist?
If you want to say the Series S is holding us back, then cancel the Steam Deck. And
Yeah.
no one wants to do that because the Steam Deck's freaking great.
Yeah.
It's fine. It's all fine.
If you can do one, you can do the other.
I can
like, follow,
juggle
subscribe, juggle
and ride a
the
unicycle at the
button,
same time.
and we'll catch you in the next one.
As long as I don't drop my Series S's. Whoops.